everybody, it is Amber Kivett with Kivett Kinetic Solutions and Lifepro. I am super excited to share with you today a lot of the reasons why you might be dealing with back pain or hip pain and how Lifepro vibration platforms can make a difference in your world. So a little bit about me. I am a healthcare professional as an athletic trainer, and I've been in strength coaching been doing all this for over 20 years. I had already started working in the sports medicine field when I was involved in a traumatic car accident, suffered 8 spinal injuries, fibromyalgia, and a head injury, and basically had to learn to walk again from scratch. So if anybody understands back and hip pain, it would be me, because I have recovered 100% and I have no pain today from any of my injuries. No spinal surgery required, just a matter of doing what a lot of doctors told me not to do, which was moving. And that was back in 2005 when a lot of doctors would just give out pills and tell you to lay around and not do a whole lot of anything. So I have learned through all these years that movement is medicine and motion is lotion. It kind of lubricates all those joints, gets things moving. But I get a lot of people that contact me on a daily basis. What can I do for back pain? How does the vibration platform help with back or hip pain? I have degenerative disc disease. And I want to make sure you all understand, if you have been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, so has everybody else in the world most of the time. Like after you age, I've had athletes who are in their teens who are already diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And it's because we don't move as much as we should. So what's beautiful about the vibration platforms is that they do a lot of the moving for you. So if you're in pain and you can't get up and you can't get moving around, all you have to do is stand on the platforms, and it causes every muscle fiber in your body to contract and relax anywhere from 20 to 50 times per second. When you get that kind of movement, we develop strength and hypertrophy of those muscle fibers at the exact same time without having to lift a weight. Because as you know, if you are suffering of hip and back pain, or maybe you're suffering from neck pain, it hurts to lift weights and it just aggravates things even more. So what makes the vibration platform so special is that it lowers inflammation in the body. Just our bodies responding to vibration is what makes our body jive in a good way. So every time we make contact with the ground is vibrating, and it's delivering that energy through our bodies so that our bodies can learn what it needs to do with it. And our body is very, very excited with vibration. But the problem is when we don't move, or when we move in shoes that are overprotective or rigid on our feet because we've been put in orthotics or corrective shoes, our body doesn't absorb the vibration the same way. So just standing on one of these platforms for 10 minutes a day will make a huge difference in how your body is able to generate movement and how it's able to move lymph and fluid around in your body. So increasing circulation, decreasing inflammation, increasing the happy hormones to our brain. So we have dopamine, oxytocin, which is our love hormone, makes us feel ultra special, serotonin, which is mostly in the gut, and endorphins, which is our natural painkiller. When you stand on the vibration platforms, or let's say you go out for a run, you're gonna get an instant release of all those hormones. And by not moving, we naturally develop a sense of depression from not being able to do what we want to do, but also we're not getting those happy hormones, and we're getting an increase in inflammation, which makes our body heal so much slower. So you can stand on the platform just 10 minutes a day, do absolutely nothing else, and you're gonna feel a huge difference in your entire body. So let's talk about the back, okay? Here's my pelvis and my sacrum here, okay? Our lumbar spine is up here, okay? Most people who have back or hip pain, even going from our neck, most people think that it is a disc problem, or it is a muscle that's tight, or they got sciatica. Well, here's the thing. Where you have pain is usually not what the source of the problem lies. Unless you've been diagnosed in an MRI or CT scan with spinal stenosis or a disc herniation or a disc bulge or spondy of some sort, which is usually in the lumbar sacrum spine. If you've been diagnosed with any of that stuff, that's totally legit. But something postural wise has led to that diagnosis. And so we have to reverse that if possible. And that's something that we can do with the platforms by causing a decrease in tension on our connective tissue planes, but also decreasing inflammation hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. Many of you have reached out to me and you are really struggling with losing weight. You're not going to be able to lose weight if you're stressed out or if your body is overinflamed. Many of you don't want to go on a special diet for anti-inflammatory. And you don't have to necessarily if you're trying to make small changes. Just getting on the platform is going to be a huge advantage in trying to lower levels of inflammation and trying to improve your overall body awareness and posture. So the reason why I'm holding up my pelvis here is because, and I had an athlete that asked me this last week, like, where's your pelvis? And I'm like, really? Yes, he really had no idea where his pelvis was. And this is a center of a football team. And he was suffering of back pain, but he didn't understand what the pelvis was. So most important thing, pelvis sits about like that, okay? Now with the pelvis, it can tilt forward, it can tilt backwards. We can have one hip that flares out. We can have the other hip that flares out. They can flare inward. We can create rotation one way forward, one way backward, create rotation both. And then of course, the sacrum on the backside, it kind of floats and does its own thing. And then of course, I injured my tailbone. The tailbone is this little guy right here that's tucked under. And usually the only way that most people end up in hurting their tailbone is if they land on their butt direct. And you usually feel tailbone pain right through the butthole or right at the very, very bottom. Like it's a really nagging pain, but you usually have to sit on a pillow if you have coccyx or tailbone pain. Most people confuse the sacrum with tailbone pain, but the sacrum has the ability to shift up, shift down, rotate side to side, can create some torsion. So when you put all this together, okay, we got all kinds of crazy kooky things that can happen, okay? And what is really important to remember here, if you've been told that you've got SI joint pain, that is this joint right in here, okay? Now, what's really important to understand and why I'm explaining all this to all of you all is because we have a tremendous amount of musculature that attaches all over this, okay? The musculature that attaches down here at my bottom, okay? A lot of it originates up here in the head and neck. So if you sit like this all day or you sit like this all day, okay? Meaning your pelvis is tucked under, your shoulders are rounded forward, your head is forward, okay? If you have bad neck posture, it's going to cause hip and low back pain. So you have to start working on reversing, which is not here, but opening up to here, okay? When we open up to here, then it takes the tension off of a lot of those muscles that run right down the backside, several layers of musculature. But here's the other thing. Sitting is the new smoking. So when we sit, okay, we have a huge set of muscles that starts right here in our lumbar spine, lumbar 1 through lumbar 5. That is your psoas muscle. And the psoas is the most powerful muscle in the body in that it can connect any energy from the top to the bottom. It has a lot of innervation with the diaphragm, and the organs sit right on top of it. It crosses over the pelvis joint right here and attaches right here on the inside of your thigh. So if you're like this all day and you're sitting, okay, and we're here, then this whole set of muscles gets very, very short. And then when we try and stand up, if you can see what my back is doing here, okay, not a good position for the back. But if I try and stand up and open up, if this group of muscles does not want to stretch out, it's going to pull on the pelvis, changing back alignment, okay, or changing the pull on your back muscles. So if you have back pain, if you have hip pain, if you have neck and shoulder pain, it is all related, okay? And so I'm gonna show you how you can do just some basic exercises. So let's say you wanna buy one of these platforms. People ask all the time, what am I supposed to do when I get it? Because I don't wanna hurt anything. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be very hard to hurt yourself, make yourself worse by just standing on it, okay? Worst case scenario, if you have trouble standing up, which I did for a long time, I couldn't even get out of bed for a long time. If you can't stand up on the platform, then just sit in a chair that you're comfortable in and elevate your feet onto the platform, but make sure you go barefoot because we have hundreds of millions of little nerve cells that exist only on the skin on the bottom of the feet. And those sensory cells is what is responsible for absorbing information from the ground, from vibration or the platforms, and transitioning that energy up into our brain and making sense of it as to how we move around in space. So coordination, balance, proprioception, which is your awareness of where you're at in this world, and how you change direction and just your overall awareness of what's going on around you. Neuroplasticity is how your body all connects together through the mind. All of that can be directly changed and improved just on the bottom of the feet by standing on a device. So super powerful, right? Okay, I've got two different devices here. I've got here on this side, I've got the Rumble X4D, okay? As you can see, it's got a little bit of curve to it. So if you don't want the curve, the Rumble X Plus and the Rumble X Pro are much flatter than that. But the whole Rumble X series is my absolute favorite. But some individuals can't handle the balance or are intimidated by the movement on that. So I've got the Vivid Pro directly right behind me, okay? The Vivid Pro is what we call linear vibration. And so the vibration is taking place over the whole platform at the exact same time, and it's up and down, okay? So what it's doing is it's spontaneously causing both sides of our body to work at the exact same time, but it's not a response to a teeter-tottering effect or what we call an oscillation effect of the platform. It's just intense vibration driving up through our body, and our body, because it's absorbing all of that G-force, all that vibration, contracts and relax like 10 to 20 to 50 times per second. It's astronomical, okay? Now, stay tuned for just 1 second. I'm gonna grab something so you can understand what a muscle spindle fiber is, because if you can't make sense of that, that changes like the perception of what I'm getting ready to show you. So hang tight, coming right back. Okay, and so for those of you who have not made your Christmas list with Santa yet, put one of these platforms on your Christmas list, because super, super powerful for all things. I've been able to change my whole body, transformation, 45 pounds lost since like February, March, just nothing but platform workouts. And every single workout that I've ever done on any one of these platforms, you can see on the Lifepro website, or the Lifepro social media pages, or on the Kivit Kinetic Solution page. So I haven't done a workout outside of there. So you can follow my whole transformation just using these devices. Okay, so let's talk about muscle spindles, okay? This is what muscle fibers look like, okay? Those are multiple little fibers in one muscle strand, okay? And those myofibrils is what makes up each one of your muscles, and we've got so many muscles in the body. But if you can see, there's like this spider webbing, like saran wrap coating wrapped around the outside of all those fibers, and then each one of these fibers is wrapped with the same thing. That tissue is fascia, and that fascia is emotionally and sensory attached to pain. So if you have a great amount of pain, there's a good chance that those fibers are stuck and they're not happy. And so it looks like that, kind of grotesque, right? Yes, that's what those look like when they get irritated and you can't move and you want to move and you can't move. No matter who works on you, those little fibers are adhesed and they can't go anywhere. So imagine a gentle earthquake to all of that. What if you could create the perfect storm, the perfect earthquake? Well, that's the vibration platforms for you, okay? So we're creating our own perfect storm, our own earthquake to rattle these nasty adhesions that shouldn't be there so that we can refurbish your connective tissue to look like this nice, jelly, hydration-rich material. And that material is able to sense pain and emotion 10 times greater than any nerve or muscle you have in your body. It has an electrical system of its own, and it wraps around every muscle, every bone, every vertebra, every tendon, your organs, your brain, anything and everything. It connects your fat to your skin, your fat to your muscle. So super, super important to understand that, because as we age, okay, the visual over here is what we look like when we're a lot younger. So it's a nice, beautiful mesh. Think of like webbed pantyhose or fishnet pantyhose, And then the one on the other side is what we look like as we age. So it's like a pile of yarn. And if you can imagine taking a hairbrush through a pile of yarn, it's like a disaster, right? Versus a brush through somebody's nice smooth hair. Yeah, so that's the difference. When we get little kinks in our webbing, okay, when we get little kinks, the one on this side is what it looks like when we get a kink. And that kink has to pull from somewhere else along our chain so that it turns back into something like this. So the vibration platforms are responsible for bringing all of that back to somewhat of a manageable level. And at the same time, it's releasing all of that emotion, all of that negative energy, releasing happy hormones, detoxing. I'll just go on and on and on and on and on. So good stuff. So I'm going to show you what you need to know when you buy one of these platforms, whether it's the Rumble X or whether it's the Vivid Pro. We also have a standard Vivid. So if you're looking for cost effectiveness, we have a Vivid and we have a Vivid Pro. The Vivid series is a linear vibration, so very, very strong vibrations up and down, but you feel the exact same thing across the platform, and the platform does not move. So it doesn't teeter-totter, it doesn't shift side to side like the Rumble X series does, or like the Turbo, or the Hovert, or the Waver, any one of those platforms. It doesn't matter which one you choose through Lifepro. Every single platform that we sell will make a huge difference in your back and hip pain, and it travels all the way up into the neck. So let me just show you. Once you get your platform, if you decide to put that on your list of things that you need, which you need for sure, this is like we're talking about your health here, you can just start out with gentle. So you can choose a preset program, whether it's a P1, a P2, or P3 if you're in the Rumble X series. All three Rumble X units have the same preset program. My absolute favorite is the P2 program. I get the most bang for my time when I use the P2 program. For some people, when you get your platform, start less. Less is better. So 10 minutes, and if 10 minutes makes you itch out of control, that is a major histamine response. That means you're getting junk out of the trunk, you're getting things moving, you're eliminating those toxins that are stored in that web, you're breaking up that nasty, like stagnant web, and you're getting some blood flow into there. So that's like a really, really good thing, okay? So we start on a low level of vibration, okay? So I'm gonna show you the difference between these two platforms and how they look and operate, okay? Scoot this one over just a little bit so you can see. So I'm just gonna choose P2 because it's my favorite, and I am using this on carpet. You can use it on bare floor, or you can use it on carpet, whatever is convenient for you. It needs to be on a level surface, so you don't wanna use it in something like gravel, but you can use it on concrete, whatever is convenient for you, okay? Now, I'm just shaking. Everything's just shaking, okay? So I'm standing on the platform, and if you have trouble with balance, just focus on staying on the platform. So, because it continues to change, we have a teeter-totter effect, we have a lateral, now we're shifting side to side at the same time that we're getting vibration. So there's a lot of things that are going on here. This is why they call this the four-dimensional, because we're absorbing vibration, we're shifting, teeter-tottering, we're going side to side, and we're doing it all at the exact same time. Amazing. Feels absolutely amazing, okay? And my voice will start to change because it's so intense, but I'm feeling this all the way up to my hair, okay? Now, what should you do when you stand on here? I want you to remember the silly cue, okay? Remember, hold your pee and hold your poo, because your pelvic floor, okay, the hammock of muscles that lines the pelvic ring, the most powerful set of muscles in your body if you use them right, okay? If those are not working, then nothing else over and beyond works the way it's supposed to. Everything else has to overwork. That's where we get back pain and hip pain and neck pain, okay? So to activate that hammock of muscles, I want you to imagine that you have to pee really, really bad, and you don't want to pee down your leg. So you're gonna tighten from inside to hold your pee. So if you hear me say hold your pee, that's what that means. When you activate and you hold your pee, on the front side, you're activating that whole hammock of muscles. Now, at the same time, you have a really bad problem with leaking your booty, right? So you've got diarrhea, let's say, okay? And you don't want to leak by accident. So you're gonna clench your back door sphincter muscle as tight as you can from the inside, okay? Inside, not squeezing your butt cheeks together, but inside. And when you do that, we activate the whole back side of the pelvic floor. So if you hold your pee and you hold your poo together, okay, then you're activating everything, okay? So I don't want you to worry about posture yet. It's just a matter of, we've got to create that vacuum of energy in that hammock of muscles from the inside out, okay? We're making sure that our knees are relaxed and nice and loose, okay? And all we're doing is just absorbing this energy, letting our body move, okay? We're not forcing it to stay put, we're allowing things to move, but more importantly, hold your pee and hold your poo. So let me show you real quick. On this model, that big circle right there in the middle, that's your pelvic ring. That pelvic floor sits like a hammock, nice and deep inside like such, okay? So we need these hammock muscles working as best as they can to stabilize, okay? Now, things are moving, okay? And you can see everything, and this is a loose top. Everything underneath of here is vibrating and flopping all over the place. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are worried about how much of your fat is flopping all over the walls, totally embrace that, because we want that stuff moving. If you're not moving it, it is stuck. And if it is stuck, doesn't matter what you diet, how you eat, how much you exercise, if it is stuck, you're not getting rid of it. You have to metabolize it by getting it moving, okay? So let's make sure that we are enjoying the process of feeling our flubber flop all over the place, because as much as we are consciously aware of it, and it might make some of us not feel very pleasant, it's a good thing. So make sure that you're allowing your body to do that. In fact, the more I flubber all over the place, the better it feels, okay? So with your back, okay, you can just work on getting into a little bit of a squat, standing up or standing down, okay? So just working my way up and down, just getting my body moving, okay? Now, I'm gonna turn my platform to the side so you can see what's happening from the back side, okay? So from here, we are just tilting the bodies forward, tilting our body back, tilting forward, tilting back. So what I want you to imagine, you've got a fancy belt buckle on. We want to be able to see the belt buckle. But if we're pointed down, we can't see that fancy belt buckle. So tilt your belt buckle upward so that you can see that. And when you do that, you're going to feel a huge stretch on this back side, and you're going to feel your butt cheeks burning. That's a good thing, okay? So don't be afraid. We call these pelvic tilts. Don't be afraid to tilt those pelvis forward and backwards, okay? Now, from here, I like to do booty circles, okay? Because our hips are supposed to be a ball and socket joint. So 360 degrees of motion, okay? So let's create big booty circles one way, big booty circles another way. Have some fun with this, okay? Don't be consciously aware, just have fun with it. Like, I like to say there's no right or wrong when we're doing these kind of things, okay? But just keeping, if I keep my rib cage stuck and just moving my butt around and around and around, okay? Now we get the rib cage moving. So now we're actually creating more motion by allowing the rib cage to free flow with us, okay? Free flowing motion, getting these muscles moving. Life is fun, right? Because it's all about having fun too, okay? So we can get into a squat, okay? And then from here, drop those shoulders. So we're creating a big, big arch in our back. You can feel a nice stretch down here in the low back, and it feels really, really good. Roll up as you tuck. Imagine having a tail as you tuck your tail inward. Slide those hands down to your shins as far as you feel comfortable going. Round up, tucking your tail as you come up. Sliding down, rolling up, okay? All right, those are some basics when it comes to that platform, all right? Now, let me show you the difference between that and the Vivid. If you can't handle or you're afraid of the platform moving like it does, then we go with the Vivid or the Vivid Pro, because the Vivid or the Vivid Pro does not move. It just creates a tremendous amount of vibration. We also have modes in this preset programs. We've got 3, okay? And yes, you get a light show when you get this platform, so it's really fun. we can start out with any one of our preset programs. It doesn't make any difference. P3 is a combination of soft and strong. So I'm just going to start with that one just because. Okay? Now, from a sensory standpoint, this mat on here is totally different than the other mat. This mat is very sensory rich, okay? Now, you're not going to feel your flubber flopping all over the place. So if you are worried about feeling that, this is your unit, or you can always do the Rumble X and just do vibration only without the oscillation or the lateral movements, okay? But this one, the platform doesn't teeter-totter, doesn't move. But it doesn't matter where my body is in contact with this platform, I'm gonna feel the same energy no matter where my body is in contact with, okay? But a lot of people I find like to be able to feel their bodies moving, and you really don't feel your body moving from the outside. You can feel it on the inside. In fact, you can feel this all the way up in between your ears because the vibration is so intense. The G-force is great, okay? So if you're one who is afraid of moving your body, then this is your platform, okay? This is also a really good platform for animals. So if you have animals who are suffering of arthritic joints, this is a really good platform that your animal can actually stand or sit on. And it'll actually help animals with mobility as well. Decreases inflammation, increases mobilization, okay? In the areas that we want to increase mobilization. So right now, the energy is growing more intense, and I can feel it internally, but my skin and my body on the outside isn't spasming out of control. So you really can't see my body moving, but I can feel it. If you were to place your hand on me, I can feel the intense vibration, but it's not my body responding to the platform moving. My body is responding to the vibration that's being driven through my feet. Woo, super intense right here. So when you see the red light coming on, intense vibration, okay? And then it goes back down. I love the preset programs because I don't like to think when I get on here, I just like to feel, okay? Nonetheless, both units have a manual program. So if you're wanting to create your own workout, your own programming, you have a manual mode setting on both that you can work with, and both work really, really well. Woo! I'm gonna take a break and enjoy this because it is intense. I mean, I can feel my nose is like shaking. Pretty wild. Okay, so that was the main thing I wanted to share with you. What is the difference between one versus the other? You can do the same exercises here on this platform, whether it's, you know, the tilts or whether it's the circles or whatever you want to do. You just keep the movements simple when you're getting used to everything. And again, if you have questions, reach out to us. But I can tell you the success stories are endless of the people who have bought the platforms for back, neck, shoulder, hip pain. It doesn't matter if you've got the disc herniation, or the disc bulge, degenerative disc disease. I've got a client who's got a spondylolisthesis, and she is just jamming on it, and her pain continues to get better and better as her mobility and her athleticism in volleyball gets better and better. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.